Someone once said, "You can tell a Christian by the trail of light they leave behind." Tonight, there was a twilight march for life here at the University of Dayton. Students whose travel plans to Washington, D.C. were thwarted by snow gathered here instead to pray for an end to abortion and for a culture of life. After praying the rosary, they marched in sub-zero temperatures, each carrying a candle. There it was, a trail of light. In the midst of a culture where so many people are seen as disposable, unborn children, children who are trafficked for sex, the poor, in the midst of this, these students created a trail of light. On this very same day, we Marianists remembered our blessed founder, William Joseph Chaminade. He too lived in dark times during the French Revolution. Though he saw his dear friends lose their lives at the guillotine, he continued his priestly ministry, disguising himself to care for people in secret. Chaminade also experienced the darkness of exile, 3 years away from his home country, waiting and praying. It was in that darkness that a great light of inspiration came to him to found the Marianist family and build communities of faith that would not just create trails of light, but displays more magnificent than any Disney laser light show. Because of his faith then, Marianists around the world today, 200 years later, work to do just that. Amid the darkness of his time, too, a light arose. And of course, earlier this week we remembered Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. With the darkness of violence round about him, time in jail, police dogs and fire hoses, threats, bombings, poverty and injustice faced by his people, he left us a trail of light. Once he said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Amid encircling darkness, the light of nonviolent love, even for enemies, arose. Each of these examples shows us how a courageous Christian life brings light in darkness. The prophet Isaiah foretold this, saying, "The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Upon those who dwelt in the land of gloom, a light has shone." Yes, light in the darkness. And our psalm response tells us who this light is. "The Lord is my light and my salvation." In our gospel this week, we have a very interesting scene at the beginning of Jesus' public ministry. His cousin John had just been arrested and would learn the darkness of dungeon places. Jesus then withdrew to Galilee, left his home in Nazareth, and set up shop in Capernaum. The place is significant. The Galilee of the Gentiles, where Jesus would be light not just for his own people, but a light to all, a light to the nations. Matthew harkens back to Isaiah saying, "The people who sit in darkness have seen a great light. On those dwelling in a land overshadowed by death, light has arisen." We see this as Jesus calls Peter, Andrew, James, and John, begins teaching, proclaiming the kingdom, and curing. Wherever he goes, there is a trail of light. Perhaps each of us knows a situation, maybe even in our own homes or our own hearts, where we don't see much hope, only darkness. Even there, especially there, Jesus is light. Let's look for him and become people who glow with his light. They say St. Anthony of Egypt, who we remembered recently, could be spotted in a crowd because of his glow. He was so filled with light that his skin seemed paper thin, meant only to give a shape to the light that shined out to everyone from his heart of love. Jesus, the light to the nations, is within you and me, and he's hidden in the darkness of every difficult situation. May we rejoice in this good news, glow with his love, and leave a trail of light wherever we go. Our Lady of Perpetual Help, pray for us.